You know, when you think of Rio de Janeiro, this is probably the image that pops into your head. It's one of the most famous statues on the entire planet. But behind that postcard picture, there's this incredible story of faith, mind-blowing engineering, and just sheer global ambition. So today, let's get into the real story of Christ the Redeemer. It kind of makes you wonder, right? What really gives a monument its power? Is it just about being big and beautiful? Or is there something more to it? Something in its story that just grabs the world's attention? Okay, check out this number, 107%. Between 2006 and 2011, the number of people visiting Christ the Redeemer more than doubled. I mean, that's a massive jump in just 5 years. So what on earth happened? Well, there's this thing called the wonder effect. See, in 2007, the statue got this huge honor. It was named one of the new 7 wonders of the world. And that one title, that single designation, completely changed the game. It went from being a beloved national symbol to an absolute global tourism magnet. But let's rewind. Before it was a wonder of the world, it was just this incredibly audacious idea. I mean, seriously, how do you build a gigantic Art Deco statue on top of a 700-meter-high mountain peak? It took a wild combination of faith, pure ingenuity, and some seriously next-level engineering. So let's get into the construction, because it was nothing short of an engineering marvel. It was this amazing global collaboration that just defied all the odds. The whole thing took 9 years, and it was a logistical nightmare, to say the least. Get this, the head and hands were first sculpted out of clay, in a studio in France. Then they had to ship these massive, fragile pieces all the way across the Atlantic Ocean to Brazil. Only then could the workers on the mountain start building the final version out of reinforced concrete, piece by piece, high above the city. Just incredible. And the team they put together? Seriously, it was like an international dream team. The lead engineer was Brazilian, of course, but they brought in a French structural engineer, a Polish-French sculptor, and even a Romanian artist who was responsible for the delicate features of the face. It was a truly global project right from the very beginning. And for that final touch, that distinctive look, workers painstakingly placed by hand about 6 million tiny soapstone tiles all over the concrete surface. The lead engineer, Heitor da Silva Costa, just felt that bare concrete looked too rough, too harsh. And he was right. That soapstone is what gives the statue its unique, soft, almost glowing appearance. Just try to wrap your head around the scale of this thing. We're talking about a structure that weighs 635 metric tons. Its arm span is as wide as a city street. And remember, all of this was done back in the 1920s on a super steep mountain, with every single bit of material hauled up on a tiny little tourist train. But okay, the engineering was amazing, but this wasn't just a construction project. To really get why it was built, you have to understand it as a powerful symbol of faith, something that grew out of a major religious revival. You have to put yourself back in that time period. In 1889, Brazil became a secular republic, which meant separating church and state. And for a while, there was this growing fear in the Catholic community that faith was on the decline. So after World War I, they came up with this idea for a grand monument as a way to, in their words, reclaim the country for Christ. And get this, it was paid for almost entirely by donations from everyday Brazilian Catholics. But, the iconic design we all know today? It almost didn't happen. The original plan showed Christ holding a giant globe in one hand and a cross in the other. Well, the public wasn't a huge fan, and they started calling it Christ with a ball. So after some back and forth, they changed it to the pose we see now, Christ with his arms wide open. It became this much more universal symbol of peace and welcome. So where does that leave the Redeemer today? Let's talk about its legacy, because over the years, the statue has really grown into something much, much bigger than its original purpose. The new 7 Wonders Foundation really nails it here. It's totally transcended its religious roots. I mean, yes, it's still a hugely important symbol of faith for millions, but it's also a secular cultural icon. It represents the city of Rio and that welcoming spirit of Brazil to people from every background imaginable. And that brings us right back to the wonder effect. Remember that 107% growth? Well, to put it in perspective, look at this. During that same 5-year period, tourism around the entire world grew by only 16%. That just shows you the incredible power of being named a wonder of the world. But the story doesn't just end there. Being perched on top of a mountain means the statue is in a constant battle with the elements. It gets battered by wind, rain, and it gets hit by lightning all the time. So just keeping this global icon standing is a continuous and very real challenge. So we're left with this really interesting thought. Christ the Redeemer started as a symbol for one religion in one country. But today, it's a global beacon of welcome, an engineering masterpiece that millions come to see. It really makes you wonder, what's that secret ingredient? How does a monument go from belonging to a community to belonging to the entire world?
Enjoyed this video? Please like, share it with a friend, and press the bell icon to never miss an update.